This is video 9 in the grade 8 playground design project. In this video, I'm going to do a tutorial on how to create the tunnel slide. So looking at the tunnel slide, a few things. We can see it's 132 inches tall. We can also see that we have a 120 inch length to it, and the opening face and the exiting face are 36 inches with a 30 inch opening. So coming over to OnShape, I've already created my part tunnel slide in that playground design folder, and I'm going to choose my front face. Orientating myself, the first thing I'm going to do is grab my line tool. And what I want to do is I want to draw a 36-inch line directly above that origin point. So we can see it's directly above the origin point. I'm going to grab my dimension tool, and I'm going to dimension from the origin point to the base of bottom of my line the height of this slide. Now, if the height is 132, but the length of this line is 36, that means I need to dimension it 96 inches away from my origin point. So again, we're looking at a larger part here. The next thing I'm going to do is draw the end of my slide. So I'm going to come back down to that origin point. I'm going to draw a line even with that. And again, that line is going to be 36. So you can see I'm on that origin line here as well. I'm going to grab my dimension tool, and from the start of this line to the origin point, I'm going to dimension the length of my slide, which is 120 inches. Now, if we take a look, I have the framework for my slide. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my spline tool. I'm going to click on the top of my slide, somewhere a third of the way, or roughly a third of the way, and then the end. I can hit the escape button to exit that tool then. I'm going to do the same thing for the bottom, roughly a third of the way, and then my end, and then the escape button to exit that tool. Now I'm going to hit escape again to get my select tool on, and what I can do now is grab my white circles to create the shape of my tunnel slide. Now, obviously, you're going to spend some time. You could actually lay more points to your spline in there, depending on how much of a slide, or much you want to affect your slide shape. And again, I'm just doing this roughly. This is something that you're going to have to probably sit around and play with, so we get a nice, safe slide that looks roughly like the diagram here. But again, this is how you'd set this up, and then you'd use your spline tool. Reflecting on it, I might have laid 4 points in there, so I have a little bit more flexibility. But you could play around with how you want to draw your splines to create the slide shape that you'd like. Again, my slide here isn't ideal, but for the sake of the shortness of the video, I want to show you how to finish the rest of the slide. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to extrude this slide 36 inches. What we can see now is we have that general shape of the slide. What I have to do is create the opening and the pathway for the slide. So I'm going to come up here to the shell tool. I'm going to select the top face opening and the bottom faced opening. I want to change my shell thickness to 1 inch. And what you're going to notice is I've now created my slide, which has a pathway for the person to go through. Again, not the most ideal slide in this circumstance, not the safest slide, but we get the general idea, so you can make your slide according to those specifications.